Everyone. So all of you, I'm sure, are aware of the Kyrie Irving situation and mess. If you aren't, you must have been sleeping under a rock. I'll link some videos down in the description below. Go check them out, hear how I feel about it, all of those things. But Stephen A. Smith had this to say. From what I've been told, Joe Tsai completely done with him. He's completely done with Kyrie Irving. According to Stephen A. Smith, he's hearing that Joe Tsai wants nothing to do with Kyrie Irving. The only reason he's even remotely working with Kyrie Irving is because he's under contract, and therefore he has no choice really, unless they, decide to buy him out or trade him, something along those lines. But right now, all the word is that he is untradeable, and it makes sense. I mean, who would really want to give up assets for Kyrie Irving right now when they're seeing the mess that's going on with the Brooklyn Nets? No one wants to bail the Brooklyn Nets out. Now, I do think if Kyrie Irving gets bought out, I do think he ends up going to the Lakers. And as a Laker fan, I cannot wait for that to happen because I really do think that that is likely going to happen. I think that we're seeing all the writing on the walls. I don't know how, one, the Brooklyn Nets can bring Kyrie Irving back to come and, join the team and play with the team. Secondly, I don't know why Kyrie would want to go back to the Brooklyn Nets after everything that has been said and done. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets released a public statement saying that Kyrie Irving is unfit to play for the Brooklyn Nets. What? Look, I can understand them, saying hey, there's a real mess going around, whatever, that kind of thing. At this time, we think it's best for Kyrie to, step away, or it's best right now for us to, a little distance ourselves until we can kind of find the right solution, something along those lines. But to just point blank say, no, Kyrie Irving is unfit for the Brooklyn Nets organization, the Brooklyn Nets are these prestigious, just top of the top organization that has no dysfunction. I mean, you have Joe Tsai with all his stuff. People are literally dying over the stuff that he's doing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. It's YouTube, so I can't really dive into it too much. But the Joe Tsai thing is it's disturbing, and yet nothing for him. Why? Because he represents a huge part of the NBA's revenue stream, and they're not going to get that in trouble. Remember Daryl Morey? Does that ring a bell to anybody? That whole thing. And then on top of that, you're willing to say that Kyrie Irving is unfit as a player because of what he posted, but you're telling me Ime Udoka and him getting suspended for a year and all of the allegations centered around him and supposedly, again, based on the allegations, several women and potential harassment, that's okay. That's fine. What the owner of your organization is doing in Joe Tsai, that's okay. That's fine. That is fitting for the Brooklyn Nets. But what Kyrie Irving did isn't. If these people were all, righteous and doing the right thing constantly and stuff like that, sure. But they have as big, if not bigger, skeletons in their closet than Kyrie Irving does. And yet he's unfit. Right. Okay, that makes sense. It's the double standard. It's the negative. It doesn't make sense to me. And it doesn't add up to me. And there's just no way I see Kyrie Irving saying I want to play for this organization again. Now, he does need to make money and probably wants to make money. And we've seen on several occasions that when his pockets end up getting, threatened, he's willing to kind of compromise a little bit for that reason. But I don't know. I would be surprised personally if Kyrie Irving plays another game for the Brooklyn Nets. I just don't see him wanting to do that. I don't see Brooklyn wanting to do that. All the word and all the conversation is that the Brooklyn Nets are done. It's the last straw, blah, blah, blah. But we heard that in the summer. The Brooklyn Nets had their opportunity to right this ship. The Brooklyn Nets had their opportunity to make this better. And it turned out to be a total disaster, and the Brooklyn Nets imploded just like I said they would. I have the receipts on this channel. I have called everything that has happened with the Brooklyn Nets so far. Not to the point. I just knew something would happen with Kyrie Irving because it happens every couple months. And, whether it's warranted or not, it doesn't matter. Something happens that just causes some controversy around him, and the Brooklyn Nets are going to have to deal with it. And here's the thing. Eventually, it's going to happen again. If they bring Kyrie back, it's going to be a while. But even then, like, they want Kyrie Irving to go see like a counselor, and they want him to go meet with like Jewish officials and leaders and stuff to do what? What is he supposed to do? He's going to sit there and what? Listen to them tell him what he doesn't believe in? Like, what happened to belief systems? Like, what happened to, you have freedoms? Like, what happened to that? And is Kyrie Irving really going to do all that stuff? Kyrie Irving's going to sit through counseling, and he's going to sit through all these different conversations with all these different organizations and stuff for what? Like, what benefit would it do for Kyrie Irving? Why would he want to do that anyway? It just makes no sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense for Kyrie to want to do that. And I really think Kyrie Irving is done with the Brooklyn Nets. I would be so surprised if he comes back and plays. I think that sooner or later they're going to buy him out. I think they have to. And the Brooklyn Nets just won, mightily. They won by like 42 points without Kyrie Irving and without Ben Simmons. Us as Laker fans, we need to start rooting for the Brooklyn Nets to win a couple more games, right? Because in all reality, if they continue to win and there's like this new like atmosphere around the Brooklyn Nets without Kyrie Irving, that's more of a reason to get rid of Kyrie. Because here's the thing too, if you just send him home, you're not going to get out of the controversy. You're not going to get out of the mess. Like, Kyrie's good because you're still representing Kyrie, or Kyrie Irving's still representing your organization because he's still under contract under your organization. So at some point, I really think they just buy him out. And why does it matter? He's leaving anyway. You're going to have to pay him anyway. So why not just buy him out, be over, let him go be somebody else's problem, and move on? And I really think he would go to Lakers. I really think the Lakers would take him. Now, I don't think it would happen immediately. If I had to guess, what will likely happen is Kyrie Irving's supposed to meet with Adam Silver. I think very likely, however that conversation goes, Adam Silver will say that, it was a great and, wonderful conversation, and, great progress and headway was made and blah, 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 blah. And they'll give the PC answer just because the NBA doesn't want this firestorm that is going on right now. This is a big, like, sort of black eye for the league in many people's eyes. And so they're not going to want to deal with this. So it's going to be, a productive conversation. I think after that Adam Silver's conversation, I think within a couple days, Kyrie Irving likely gets bought out. And after he gets bought out, I think the Lakers are going to tell him, look, we're going to sign you, but you need to go do a press conference first. And after you do the press conference and get that out of the way, then we'll sign you. And the reason I think that they make him do that first is because, one, I think that Kyrie Irving's going to have to do a press conference regardless if he wants to come back. Like, no matter what, he's going to end up having to do a press conference and answer questions from reporters. So that's something that's going to have to happen regardless, right? Secondly, if you're the Lakers, you don't want that press conference with the Lakers banner. No team would want that, right? Having that press conference, because if Kyrie says anything that's like really bad, or, he loses his cool or something, last thing you want is the, Lakers banner behind Kyrie Irving while he's having that press conference. So I think very likely he does the press conference. After he gets through that press conference, I think like within a couple days, the Lakers end up signing him, and the entire narrative and entire conversation completely changes. Because the media, they don't care. They don't care about anti-Semitic stuff. They don't care about, they pretend to care because it's a narrative and it's a conversation and it's what drives clicks and drives views and all that stuff, right? They don't care. They make stuff up constantly. They try to find the next thing, and we see it all the time. We see it constantly on all different news platforms and news levels and all kinds of stuff. You see the narrative. They talk about the narrative for a couple days while it's hot, while it's important, while that's the conversation. And then as soon as they get a new narrative, boom, they move to that. And the old narrative never gets brought back up. Once Kyrie gets past the Adam Silver's thing and gets past, the little press conference that he's going to have to hold, at that point, there's really nothing left. And if you have a big thing like Kyrie Irving going to Lakers, now that's the new headline. That's the new narrative. That's the new story that's getting clicks and views and generating dollars for these media companies. And there you go. The conversation's over. Nobody's going to care about what happened with Kyrie in that book. And he's going to be a Laker. And then the entire conversation is going to be, are the Lakers championship contenders with Kyrie Irving? Is Kyrie Irving going to turn it around? Can LeBron James contain Kyrie Irving? Those are going to be the conversations. Those are going to be the headlines. That's going to be all that stuff. That's just what it's going to be. And I don't think he's going to have as big of a problem with the LA media as he will in like Brooklyn and some of these other media outlets, because it's just different type of media, right? So I do think it's sooner rather than later. Kyrie Irving is going to be a Laker. I really do. I think it's going to happen. Maybe it doesn't happen this year. It's possible, but I think at worst case next year he becomes a Laker. Because here's the thing, the Lakers will take a chance on him because he's not going to cost anything. He's probably never ever going to be a $36 million a year player again. He'd be lucky to get a vet minimum in most cases. I think he'll get more than that from the Lakers, but very likely what'll happen is Kyrie will sign a 1-year prove-it deal with the Lakers. So what'll end up happening is, like, if the Lakers don't get him this year for, a vet minimum or something, then the Lakers very likely bring him in next year, give him like a $10 million prove-it deal. They get him dirt cheap. They use the other, $20 million that they're going to have to like bring back guys like Walker, maybe bring Russ back as like a sixth man if they haven't traded him, or if they do trade him, whatever pieces that are. They're going to get Kyrie Irving on the cheap next year, real cheap, to where it'll be worth it. They'll probably sign him to a non-guarantee so they can just buy him out or waive him if it doesn't work out. That'll end up happening, and it'll be a low-risk, high-reward situation for the Lakers, because there's probably not another team in the league that would be willing to take on Kyrie at this point. And the only reason I think the Lakers would do it is because they have a guy like LeBron James. And I know LeBron said some stuff about Kyrie and stuff. I even have the video on Kyrie talking to the media about, LeBron talking to the media about Kyrie. If you want to see that video again, link down in the description below, or just go check out the video on this channel. But even then, even with everything he said, he would bring Kyrie back. The only thing he cares about is winning. He's just got to say what he's got to say for his image, and so that way he doesn't get in trouble. I mean, look at what happened with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant didn't even say anything bad. He was just like, look, I'm not here to tell anybody what they should believe, and the Brooklyn Nets should have kept it quiet. Like, the Brooklyn Nets should have kept this under wraps within the organization, right? And everyone was like, oh, you support racism. Like, no, it's an organizational thing. Like, it should have been handled internally. Why did the owner, Joe Tsai, publicly shame and condemn and all this stuff Kyrie Irving, right? Like, you see all these organizations and something happens. Like even like the Draymond thing. Draymond physically punched somebody and knocked somebody out, and he didn't even get suspended. All that happened was he took a day off and went to Maui and had some Mai Tais and then came back, and nobody cared. And that wouldn't even have been talked about or mentioned until it got put out, until the video got leaked. Otherwise, it would have been just completely swept under the rug. But Kyrie posts something and it's the end of the world. Look, again, I'm not saying that what he did is right or wrong. It's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm saying the witch hunt that was created, that's not right. It's not. He didn't have any call to actions. He didn't do anything that warrants this just overblown scenario. It just doesn't. There are a lot worse things in this world than what Kyrie Irving did. And why aren't we talking about those things? No, instead we're spending so much time talking about Kyrie making a post about some book and a movie that you can buy on Amazon. And now the Brooklyn Nets and some, anti-Semitic hate group are now sent a letter to Jeff Bezos. You know what Jeff Bezos is going to do with that letter? He's going to use that as toilet paper tonight, and nothing's going to happen. You know why? Because he doesn't care. And he's in a position to where he doesn't have to care. And guess what? Nobody's going to stop using Amazon. People might try to say that they will. People might, I'm going to stop using. They might boycott Amazon for a day or an hour. And then all of a sudden their package is going to come to the door and it's going to be super convenient. And they're going to be like, oh, well, I guess Jeff Bezos isn't that bad, right? America. That's just the world we live in. It's insane to me. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. What do you think of this information? Do you think Kyrie gets bought out? Do you think he gets traded? Do you think he just sits at home all day? What do you think? How do you feel? Good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between? Let me know down in the comment section below.